Welcome back. The panel has reassembled and they are ready to deliver their round 4 tips. Let's start with the Rabbitohs Sea Eagles clash. There are so many subplots to this game. Chris, I'll start with you. Latrell Mitchell up against Tom Trbojevic.
I'm really looking forward to this matchup. You can make a case that these are the two best players in the game. They have such an impact on the game, and it's their ability to score tries and make breaks from anywhere. They can run over the top of you, beat you with the fend or beat you with speed. So I think the result of this game is going to come down to whoever is going to, out of those two, have a big impact.
What about obviously the matchup with Cody Walker and Josh Schuster? That's going to be a battle in the halves.
Yeah, it is. I mean, we saw Josh Schuster come back and was one of the best players on the field for Manly. Last week, Cody got a bit frustrated at times versus the Roosters. He'll want to come and put on a big performance, especially against a young 5'8" and Schuster. What
about Anthony Seibold? And obviously he's just taken over Manly this year, but impressive what he's done so far, Tim. Do you like what you've seen from Manly so far?
They've been fantastic early on. Obviously had the early bye there, so 2 games, 2 wins. They've looked brilliant. Look, the Bunnies, history would say they get the nod in this one. They've won 13 plus against Manly the last 4 times that they've played against each other. However, I just think they've got so many middle forwards out. They cannot take a treat, the poor buggers, this season. So I'm in favour of Manly, and I don't know about you boys, but what's impressed me is their pack. It's not the biggest name pack in the competition, but Chris, they're getting the job done, aren't they?
Yeah, I think that they know their role. Obviously, they've got Cherry Evans directing them round, Schuster as well, but they're just doing their job. They're going forward. They're giving guys like Cherry and Tommy Turbo the opportunity to take advantage of it. And when you've got those guys in the side, all they need is opportunities.
You're backing the Rabbitohs in this one, Chris.
I am backing the Rabbitohs. That was before I realised a lot of their forward pack are out, so I think it's going to be a lot closer. But I'm tipping it's going to be a high-scoring game and a close contest nonetheless.
And you two have both got Manly in this one. Well, not many would have predicted the Warriors and the Bulldogs to be in the top 8 after 3 rounds, but here they are. So who takes the points in this one and who holds their spot, Josh?
Yeah, look, I think the Dogs can win this one. They don't have the best record against the Warriors, but I think that they've got that confidence now of a couple of wins under their belt. The morale around the place is really good. So I think they can take that into this week. The Warriors were good on the weekend, but I just think the Dogs have got enough attack to get them over the line.
I think with that, the big change so far in the first couple of rounds, and it's a long season, in the Warriors has been their defence. And I was fortunate enough to have Andrew Webster as an assistant coach at the Tigers, and know he went over the Panthers and did some great work with their defence. So his defensive philosophy is all about working for each other and keeping moving, and it's probably something that the Warriors over the past few seasons haven't been known for. They're great in attack, but that ability to shut out tries, and if he can keep them moving and they can work for one another and they can stop that 1 or 2 tries per game, that can be the difference between them winning an extra 3 or 4 games this season.
Tim, who do you like in this one, the Warriors and the Dogs?
Yeah, look, certainly the toughest game of the round to pick for me, but I've sided with the Warriors just due to the home ground advantage. What I've loved about the Warriors this season is just the squad selection in terms of, I should call it roster management. They've had a lot of key injuries to their packs. I mean, Jackson Ford was out last week, Mitch Barnett's out this week, but they've got so many forwards between Tohu Harris and Ford and Mitch Barnett, Murata Niokore, who can go in between the middle and the edge. So they're able to counter for these injuries, and they've shown it early on. So it bodes really well for them going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Now the Green Machine is finally humming after a good win over the Sharks. Can they get the role against the injury-hit Knights? It's a tough task for the Knights. They are missing a few still, Josh.
Yeah, they are. It's not getting any easier for the Knights. And the Raiders had a gritty win over the Sharks down there in the nation's capital. So I think they've got that confidence. I think the Raiders can go on with this, particularly what we spoke about there with the injuries. I just don't see the cohesion in the Knights side. That gives me a lot of confidence that they can get the win.
What impressed you most about the Raiders at the weekend in their big win?
They've been pretty gritty all season, and finally they got the result. They're not the kind of side that are going to have a lot of points in them. They're not going to win a lot of games 13 plus, I don't think, this year. We could see by the end of the year them having just about every single game decided by 1 to 6, 1 to 12 sort of points. The weekend was no different. The forward pack got moving a lot better than they had been in the past, so Josh Papali'i's back in this week. That'll only help.
That's a massive inclusion.
And you're backing the Raiders in this one too, Chris?
Yeah, with the Raiders, I think, as we said, they're the type of side, they can win ugly and just put 2, 3, 4 games in a row together, and I think they'll continue their winning ways.
Yeah, absolutely. Look to continue their winning ways. Well, Chris is the only one going for the Rabbitohs, while the other two, they've backed Manly. Josh is on his own backing the Dogs in the Warriors game, and we've got all behind the Broncos to be the Kings of Brisbane. Thanks, Chris, Josh and Tim for your time here this evening, and don't forget to subscribe below and follow us on socials. We'll be back on Fox Sports Lab NRL next week.
League is life. It's exhilaration, anticipation, highs and highlights. League is everything. That's why we've made a betting brand for League fans. That's better. Gamble responsibly.